Tiger Woods. Love him or hate him, he is one of the most important figures in the history of golf. He's a man who's done it all, for better and for worse. While his legacy isn't as shining as it used to be, many still revere him as one of the best to ever do it, if not the best. But now, the eyes of the golf world are starting to turn towards his son, Charlie. Many think he could be the next Tiger Woods should things work out. But what do we know about the potential superstar in the making? Mind games with his dad. There are different tactics when it comes to parenting and coaching. For Charlie Woods, Tiger fills both roles. Tiger employs tactics his father used to mold him in the hopes that it will mold Charlie in the same way. It's nonstop. It's trying to get to him. If I can get into his head, that means someone else can get into his head. It's going to get to a point where I can't get into his head, and then no one else can get in there either. That's what my dad believed. You've got to be willing to take it. So far, it seems to be working as young Charlie shows all sorts of promise in the golf world. But Tiger has to walk a fine line here. After all, just because something works well for one person doesn't mean it's going to work well for another. Everyone is different, and every child has a different personality. Hopefully he remembers that as he instructs Charlie further. His name. He is named after a player Tiger used to look up to, Charlie Sifford. During his speech after receiving the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2009, Tiger said of the former PGA Tour pro, "I always called him Grandpa because he was like a grandpa I never had. And I ended up becoming so close with him that I ended up naming my son Charlie after him." Already making low scores. He is an impressive career low score. Tiger has gone on record to state that Charlie's game is improving. During the 2022 Hero World Challenge, he said his game was getting a lot better. Evidence of that can be found in a round Charlie played just a couple of months beforehand, where he shot a 68 in a qualifier for the Nota Begay 3rd Junior National Golf Championship in Florida. Tennis. He goes to watch tennis with his dad. Away from golf, Tiger is an avid tennis fan and has regularly been spotted catching a live match. It seems that passion has rubbed off on Charlie too, who has accompanied his dad to tennis matches, including the 2019 US Open. That's something to be encouraged, because the last thing that Charlie needs at his young age is to be consumed by golf all the time. If tennis is one of his outlets, then let him watch tennis. His drive. Tiger Woods was once known as one of the best drivers in the entire world. Naturally, that strength has waned in his older age and decreasing health, and he can't drive as far as before. Still, it's incredibly impressive that his teenage son can outdrive him on the green. Woods admitted that his son had already surpassed him at the 2022 Hero World Challenge. It's already happened. He hit a drive at Medalist and got me by a yard. How much better can Charlie Woods get? 11 in a row. In the final round of the 2021 PNC Championship, Tiger and Charlie hit 11 birdies in a row as they finished runner-up to John Daly and John Daly II, a course record. That's very impressive. There's no other way to say it. When you hit a birdie, you dig good. When you hit a few in a row, you have momentum and you fight to keep it going. When you hit 11 birdies in a row, usually that means you just won a championship. It's actually rather ironic that they only got second, but that shows how well the Dalys did that day. Expectations. It's not just Charlie's father who thinks he could have a bright future in the game. The bookmakers suspect he could follow in Tiger's footsteps and take the game by storm too. Early in 2022, sports website bookies.com drew up projected odds on Charlie winning a major by the age of 30 and arrived at 19-2, a plus 950. We're not bookies, but we can see why so many people are taking bets on Charlie here. He's the son of a legend, someone who changed the game, and as we'll discuss later, that has some ramifications attached to it. But his current fame has led to certain perks. Custom clubs. Most professional golfers have their own clubs, and a lot of them are custom made for them. Most teenagers do not. Woods is so good and famous in the world of golf that he has his own custom irons, and they're special to him. Mass has been taken from the toe and heel sections of the irons. As a result, there's less weight on the head. As his golf game potentially grows, he'll adjust those clubs so that they'll fit his playstyle. He'll also have to adjust to his body type as he grows more. And should he become world famous due to his golf success, You can bet he'll have an arsenal of his best clubs on hand for every tournament that he does in a year. How old is he? Not that old. Not at all. Charlie Axel Woods was born on February 8, 2009. That means that in this upcoming February, he's only going to be 14 years old. That's not a bad thing for the record. That just means we have more to look forward to as he grows up. Tiger was 21 when he won the Masters, so you never know what Charlie might be able to do with a few more years of practice under his belt and guidance from his father. Although, that does raise a profound question. Are people burdening Charlie too much? At first, this may sound silly. After all, he's not even a 16-year-old kid, and people are putting massive expectations on him. Well, sadly, this happens a lot more than you think. Not just in sports, but in other aspects of fame and life in general. If there's a parent who is incredibly talented or skilled or brilliant or strong, it's expected that their child will do as good, if not better, than their parent. While that is nice to think of in the right context, it also creates an instant burden. Because what happens if, say, in the next year or two, Charlie does get better, but he plateaus? As in, he reaches a certain spot in his golf game where he's doing good, but not great. Not pro golf level, if you will. Some will say Tiger won't let that happen. But that's part of the problem here. If Tiger becomes too invested in making sure his son stacks up, then more problems will be created. As we noted earlier, Tiger has to walk a fine line in guiding/teaching his son how to golf. He doesn't want to drive his son away, nor have his son not like golf anymore. But if the pressure gets to both of them, that could happen. And the fact of the matter is that there are plenty of GOAT athletes who had kids that didn't become like them in any way. Look at Michael Jordan. He had several kids and none of them went into basketball. The thing about sports especially is that there are so many factors that can lead to someone being good or bad that it's impossible to say that someone is destined to be good just on genes alone. Yes, Charlie is showing tremendous skill right now, and that's to be encouraged. But we also need to be mindful that his thoughts and desires could change over time. He has a long way to go before he's an adult, so who knows what his likes or dislikes will be by the time he's 21. In the end, Charlie Woods is a fascinating kid with lots of potential future ahead of him. But let's remember that it's Charlie who's going to have to decide what he wants to be and not be when he grows up. So, what do you think? What do you think of this look at Charlie Woods and how he currently stacks up in the golf world and whether he might be like his dad? Do you think that there's a chance he could be as good as his father? Or do you think that this is an unreasonable expectation for such a young kid due to all his father has done in golf? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you next time on the channel.